Hello everyone and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty special knife actually. It's one that has a story with it and one that is now back to its former glory, which is fantastic. But myself and Mikey Newman went over to Texas, as some of you may know, for Blade Show Texas in March. While we were there, we were out hunting for knives, going around pawn shops, consignment stores, flea markets, all that sort of stuff. All the good stuff, really looking for bargains. Mikey stumbled across a Case Slimline Trapper, and I'm going to show you the blade first before I show you the knife, and you'll understand why the work had to take place. So this was the blade, and if any of you'll know, the Slimline Trapper has a 3¼ inch blade. This entire blade is maybe 2½ inches, but you can see from the tang stamp this is a 1940 to 1964 case knife. And it was in jigged red bone, and the most beautiful pocket-worn red bone. We sort of reshaped the blade then at John's house when we got back from knife hunting that day. So you can see we put a nice little point on it to give it a good edge, so it would be sort of a working knife, because there's still plenty of blade left to be used. It's not a terrible amount of blade length, and plus it made it UK legal, which is great. You can see that not too much wear on the tang of the blade either, so it still had great snap on the knife. But about a month ago, I came across a Slimline Trapper, one with a tang stamp. Now it's a 2017, so it's a much newer knife for an absolute bargain price. It was only a yellow Delrin one. So I picked it up and said to Mike, look, I've got this knife. Do you want me to replace the blade for you? And he sent it along, and let's have a look at the outcome. Look at the bone on this. This turned out absolutely fantastic. That beautiful pocket-worn deep red bone, the shine that took after polishing. And there's the back as well, a bit darker down here, but again, beautiful pocket-worn bone. See that carbon steel spring. I've left some natural patina on the spring. I didn't want to go all out with the handle, because all I used from the new knife is the blade. Everything else is original from the 40 to 64 period. So, for sake of arguments, let's just say mid-50s, sort of in the middle. I had a little bit of nickel silver left over, so I did put a nickel silver pin in here as well for the pivot. See, it did a pretty good job. You can just about see it on the front here, but you can't really feel it. Case has actually worn off the shield, which is how much this has been pocket worn. You can see that beautiful bone. Spun pivot. This is my peening job here and here, so I left this one in and just sort of turned the scales round so I could take the spring out, give it a good clean. But yeah, Case Slimline Trapper. Let's do a couple of specs while we sort of talk about the knife. So it's a very large knife, well, especially for me anyway. I've got the largest hands. It's pretty much about a 4-inch closed, and it's not huge, but it does really sort of fill the hand. But Mikey's got a larger hand than me, and he'll love carrying this knife. I've already spoken to him about it, and he's really looking forward to getting this back. Beautiful oval shield. Got brass pins, nickel silver pins on the shield, nickel silver pin on the bolster. We've got these beautiful brass liners with a carbon steel spring. You can see the blade not perfectly centered, but it's about as good as it was when the knife was apart. And just look how much better this thing looks with a brand new blade. So the work I all did myself. I've been slowly getting into sort of repairing older knives, fixing up knives, recovering knives, whatever it may be. But you can see Mikey's a big fan of the tang stamp. He really doesn't like the etched, so I had to make sure I got him one with a stamp, and that's a 2017 stamp, and I made sure it was a carbon steel blade as well. So there's the model number, 31048, of course USA. And you can see the difference then between the blades. So that would have sat about there. You can see there's a good chunk of that blade missing. And when it was sat in the channel, so it would be sat about there, how much blade to handle ratio was missing. And then when you close this one, it's all the way down to about here. So there's only like this much that hasn't got blade in it. But I'm very impressed with the work. I'm pleased with myself, to be honest. I think I've done a good job. I can always improve. It's not perfect, but it's going to be a usable knife. I know he's going to want to carry this. So we're seeing 3¼ inch blade, We have 2 3/4 inch cutting length. So by my interpretation of the UK law, this is UK legal, but you know, interpret it your own way. I'm not a lawyer. And then the whole knife open is huge. It is 7 1/4. Yeah, they're about 7 1/4 inches, so it is a big boy. But it has wonderful snap. Now, of course, the larger the knife tends to be the snap or the pull strength is not that good. So it's about a 6, 6.5, but there is nice action on it. You can hear that snap on the open and on the close. And the thing I love most about this knife is it's been sort of a 3-stage restoration, really. So John at Thrifty Kniffy, we had, it's going to sound kind of weird, but we had a sort of like a production line going on. I was sort of sharpening and re-profiling blades. John was sort of cleaning out the channel, removing any sort of grime, and then Mikey was there polishing. So we've all had a hand in restoring this knife. I've just done the final sort of buff on my machine and adding the blade in. But it came out fantastically well. It's going to be a sentimental knife for Mikey, I can already tell, mainly just because of the age of it. And I can't get across how deep the red is in this bone on the camera. I've done a short which will be out before this, so go and check my short out and you'll see in the natural light what this bone looks like. But I have cleaned out as best as I can. I've buffed off the spring, that's just a little bit of natural pitting. Cleaned all the liners out, brass is looking good. Overall, an absolutely fantastic knife, and now I kind of want one myself, but I really want a jig bone like this. So maybe next year when I'm in Texas, I can look out for another $5 knife. Oh yeah, that's the kick in the cherries. This knife was $5. I know the blade was ruined, but I paid maybe 30, I think, for a brand new 2017 Slimline Trapper in the yellow Delrin in carbon steel. So what's that, 35 pound max for a really old knife that looks absolutely fantastic, that works perfectly. I mean, that's a bargain for me. But yeah, fantastic knife, one that I hope Mikey really enjoys. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And as always, have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.